Now we jump to the eutectic system. What is the eutectic system? The system in which the two distinct solid phases or the mixture of the more phases is formed when the liquid solution of the fixed compositions solidify at a constant temperature without an intermediate pasty state. What does it mean? It means, I mean, two different solid state. Okay, I mean, you have a liquid, right? You have a liquid, and once you are start cooling them, they just got the point where they transfer all the liquid together directly to the solid without giving other interface system. I mean, here, like as you can see, in such type of the system, you are having other two phase region. Here, you are having the liquid plus solid both exist together. It means you have a pasty kind of things, okay, material. So you are not jumping to the, I mean, once you have here, then you have to cross this particular region. It means you have to cross at a it doesn't matter what the small fraction, but you need to cross. I mean, you need to, come in the phase where both the state will exist together. I mean, solid and liquid will exist together, and then if you are reducing the temperature, then it will come to the solid state. So liquid to solid, you have to cross the region where you have the both the state. But in eutectic system, what happens without going to this region, without going to this region, suppose you have just one line, okay, above that you have the liquid, and below that you are a solid state, okay. So I mean, just to, suppose this is the reason, right? Now you have this kind of a graph. Now what happened? Here is the liquid, here it is a solid. Okay. So if you are here in this temperature, then all liquid. Suppose you are at this particular temperature. Once you are at this temperature, and for this particular composition, because in y-axis you have composition. So for this particular composition at this temperature, I mean, you must have the combination of the temperature and their corresponding composition and temperature. So here's the composition, here's the temperature. So at this particular temperature, there is a corresponding constituent or a composition. Then you have the intersection line at this point. So this is your critical point. Here you can convert, you would see that all the liquid has converted directly into solid. So this critical point is a special name is known as a eutectic point, and this system is known as your eutectic system. It means all the liquid will convert into solid directly, okay, without going into the intermediate phase, which is known as the pasty state, or you pasty phase, or you could say the phase of two different state, which is solid and liquid. Okay, so without going to two phase region, they directly convert into a solid state. Okay, so obviously at suppose you are at this particular temperature, then you would have the different composition, because if the same composition if we talk about, then at a different you are in solid state, right? So composition is more also important. So yeah, if this is a line, that makes it good. Let me do a fresh one. This one, suppose this is your solid state line. Okay, now this one. So at this particular temperature, you come suppose here, right? Right. So for this, you have some kind of composition. Only at that composition, you would be giving the eutectic point. Suppose if you have the same temperature, but you are having the different composition, like at this particular point, so what you will get? You are not having the liquid state. You are only, not you are giving at a, you are not touching your that basically line or eutectic line. You are here. It means below that you are only have the solid state. So you are basically predominantly existing at this composition. For this particular temperature, you are in solid state. Okay, similar to that, if you have a temperature of like this, then it means at the same composition, here you can see same composition, you are at solid state, right? Because this is interesting. So this is a your solid state. So what you need to know, wherever you are defining the temperature, you need to define the composition as well. As you can see, if you are at this temperature, okay, so at this temperature you are cutting here. So corresponding to this temperature, the value of composition is known as at this your eutectic point. So for every eutectic point, you would have a specific value of your temperature and a specific value of your composition or constituent value. So what the percentage of the A and what the percentage of the B is required for a particular temperature to define your eutectic point or eutectic system, and that point is your eutectic system. Okay, so this is your definition. The system in which two distinct solid phases or the mixture of the more phases is formed when the liquid solution of the mixed composition solidify to a constant temperature without any intermediate viscosity stage. The process is reversible on the heating. Obvious. Okay, if you have a solid, what does it mean? If a solid is going to cool down, this is the cooling down, then you would get the two kind of the solid. Okay, two kind of the solid. Okay, and on heating, if the two solids is there, then if you will heat them together, and they will come into the liquid state without giving in the single the two phase system. Okay, so here you are getting the two kind of the state, two kind of the solid, two different solids are there, because you are, but the system is like you are not getting in a two different region. This is your diagram. Here see A at 100% at this point. Okay, and here B is 100%. It means A is at here 0%, A is equal to here 0%, and B is equal to 0%. And in between these region, you would be having mixture of them together, right? So as you can see, at if you talk about the temperature A, okay, so what you are getting, you are only the one phases, only the A. There is no any uh, composition of B. As soon as you just increase, suppose your temperature is decreasing, once you will decrease, otherwise if you will increase the temperature, you would have only the one phase, which is known as the liquid phase. Okay, so if you decrease and come here, okay, at this particular temperature, then you have the composition of this. So at this particular position, you are not getting a eutectic point, or you're not having the eutectic system, because you are not able to come into solid directly from liquid. Okay, so as you can see, if you are this particular composition, at this composition, this one, okay, and corresponding to this temperature, okay, you are having the liquid above. It means this is your liquidus line, and you just come down temperature here, then you can see you are having the liquid plus solid state both exist together, right? It means you are having a basic region. Okay, and once you reach at this particular line, which is behaves here like as a solidus line, so once you cross this solidus line, then you would be having the solid state only, and that state would be of two kinds. Okay, solid plus state. But here, but as you decreases the temperature, okay, and also decreasing the composition, sorry, increasing temperature is a constituent or a composition. So once you reach at this particular composition, whatever the C defined, whatever the point the C defined, okay, suppose you have reached here at C, right? So corresponding to this, you have some any kind of the composition here, and this composition and this particular temperature is your eutectic point, because at this particular system, all the liquid here is also liquid, all the liquid at this point convert directly into solid, and the solid of two kinds, A plus B. Got it? And if you have raised, or if you increase the percentage, then you have reached here, then here the same thing will happen, but not the eutectic system, because in this region you would have to go to with the solid plus liquid state, that is your best region, and that is not a definition of a eutectic system. Got it? So to be the eutectic system, you must have labs, or you have to eliminate your tested region, or you could not go through that particular two-phase region, and you indirectly you could say that directly from liquid to solid, you the point where the directly solid liquid converts into the solid into the two solids, that is known as your eutectic system.